It's a Monday winner's circle edition here of Big Drive Energy. We gave you another winner this past week on the Bet365 app with Aaron Rai. Insane finish. We're going to talk about the entire Wyndham Championship. Matt Kuchar making the biggest dick move of the year on the PGA Tour, but no surprise there. We're also going to talk about the Gutschewski family. Pretty insane story from the Korn Ferry Tour event this past weekend, as well as Lydia, one of the Americans we didn't pick, winning Olympic gold for the Ladies Olympics this past week in France. All right, let's tee it up. Welcome in to this Monday edition, Winner's Circle edition of Big Drive Energy. I am your host, Big Drive Spence, here with my brother, Big Drive Mitch.
We picked a winner.
We picked a winner.
We are winners. We're part of Winner's Circle Monday.
We are in the thread of Winner's Circle Monday.
Consensus pick. We posted the clip yesterday. Consensus pick on the W this week. That has got to be like the first time ever. And Aaron Rai was due for a win. We'll get into it, but what a culmination. Like, we were on Rai a few times these last few weeks. I mean, it felt like he finished in the top 10 every event the last month and a half. But for him to get that W and in a wild fashion, lots of drama down the stretch. I'm excited to cover that. But should we start with the wedding?
Yeah, let's start with the wedding. It was an elite wedding experience just because it was a Thursday, Friday. Everything, rehearsal dinner was a great time. Bars that night were a great time. Going out Wednesday night and kind of taking Thursday, Friday off, elite. And then heading into the wedding on Friday and then having a full weekend to recover.
Yeah, waking up and it's Saturday morning and you're hungover as shit.
That was a big dub. I'm petitioning for every one of my friends that has a wedding the rest of time to do it on a Friday because that was incredible.
And I don't see why they wouldn't want to do that because it's cheaper on a Friday than a Saturday, I would assume, right?
100. Usually. Some places consider Friday a weekend.
A lot of golf courses. Oh, wow, what the fuck? That's wild.
Yeah,
a lot of golf courses consider Fridays a weekend. I'm like, Friday is not a weekend.
Yeah, I'm like that. What? Just have half of the days be weekends, half of the days not, and then you get all the holidays in there for the holiday rates.
Unless you consider Sunday a weekday, weekends 2 days. So if you consider Friday a weekend day, then Sunday's a weekday.
I think hearing a weekend is only 2 days and Sunday a weekday is maybe the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's not as crazy as a golf course saying a Friday's a weekend. That may be the craziest thing I've ever heard.
But technically speaking, the week starts on Sunday.
No, see, have we had this argument before?
Look at the fucking calendar.
No, the week starts on Sunday, but Sunday is a weekend.
No, I'm not debating that. I'm just saying technically the week starts with a Sunday. Yeah.
I actually do not believe that one bit.
Have you looked at a calendar?
Yeah, I understand. People can put a calendar however they want.
It's in
the
order.
Week starts on
it's
a Monday.
In order of the new week. They drop down a fucking column.
I understand what a piece of paper looks like. I got a piece of paper.
That's been in existence since before time, or when time basically started. When they started keeping track of time.
The start of the week to me is a Monday. The weekend, hence end Sunday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm going to revert back to the actual calendar. Sundays. Should we go to the Google machine? Emma is kind of our tiebreaker here, and she agrees with me, but I know Spencer won't stand for that. So let's see what Google says about this. Because, if you're watching this live on the YouTube, drop us a comment, or on Twitter, whatever, drop us a comment and tell us what day is the start of the week. And Monday is designated as the first day of the week.
Oh, God, you hate to see it. The Gregorian calendar.
Intended to facilitate consistent.
Find something else that doesn't say that. That proves me right.
In America. We're in America, no?
Almost all countries in North and South America start their week on Sunday, while countries in Europe and Oceania overwhelmingly start on Monday. Do you live in Oceana?
Maybe I want to now.
You know where that is? You know,
that seems more normal to me. I
Well-
never think of waking up on a Sunday morning and be like, oh, the week is starting now.
But it's the start of the work week is Monday, yes, but the start of a new week is Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's semantics. I don't know what, I don't know what starts on a Sunday. Nothing. Everything ends on a Sunday, but nothing starts on a Sunday.
It's when Christ rested. He wanted everybody to rest on a Sunday, so you start your week rested.
No, you
And then
end your week of work by resting on the last day of the week. I honestly do think that is one of the most insane.
You have more Sunday scaries than like anybody I know anyway, so you don't even enjoy Sundays.
I don't get to do that anymore.
I think you do better to start your week on Sunday, because then you wouldn't have this, like, maybe then you just have Saturday scaries. But I honestly think that I mean, at least when we worked at the golf course, you had very, very bad Sunday scaries. Like I've never seen you so debilitated as you would be on a Sunday afternoon, just wanting to. And that's the tough thing, I will say, during football season, like even during golf tournaments, when they're like on the back nine and they have like 3 or 4 holes left, and you're like, fuck, there's nothing else on TV. Like, at least during football season, you have a Sunday night football game to look forward to, and then you have Monday night football, so you also have that to look forward to at the start of your week. But like in the middle of the summer on a Sunday afternoon, and you're like, fucking, there's nothing on TV to watch. This just kind of sucks. So
yeah, Sunday scaries are not so much a thing for me anymore. They used to be, but I get so excited for Sundays that then it makes the come down worse. Like, I get so excited
during football season, you look forward all week to Sunday. Like when we're watching mostly golf in the summertime, you have golf Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it's different. But you're looking forward all week in the fall and the winter just to Sunday to watch football all day. But then you almost feel trapped by football because you feel like you can't miss any of it. So you're just like watching football Sunday, and there's really no other option as a sports fan. And don't get me wrong, it's great. But then there's weeks where I'm like, what? I think we actually talked about this. What if you wanted to do something else on a Sunday? Like during football season, but you just feel like you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like,
even if it's a turd of a week, like on the slate.
yeah, the week that I do something on a Sunday is bye week. Or when my team plays on a Monday, when the Broncos play on a Monday, I'll maybe just dabble in some things on December 1st this year, that Sunday, or one of the Sundays that the Broncos are off, the Sunday, I guess. But yeah, I just feel like, and I've always said this, yes, there's an obsession with NFL football around the world, but I think it's more, to me, it's like, hey, my team plays 16, 17 now. No
Should
more
be
than
18
that.
soon.
Hopefully 18 soon, hopefully 20 soon. But my team plays 17 days a year for 3 hours. So if you're missing that, like, there's really no, sometimes there's a really, a big excuse.
No, but I'm
overall,
leaving out your own team. Like, I'm talking the full slate.
Oh.
Like, I wake up on the East Coast. Well, I wake up well before 1 o'clock, but football starts at 1 o'clock and goes until like 11 p.m. If the Broncos play at 4:30 Eastern, I'm still watching all the 11 o'clock slate. I'm still watching the other slate besides the Broncos, and then I'm watching Sunday Night Football. I'm saying, like, do you ever not do that? Do you ever only just watch the Broncos and like not the rest of the games?
No, unless I'm working a tailgate where I can't really watch the 11 o'clock games.
That's
and
what
then
I'm
go to the
saying.
Broncos, but
that's why you're almost like held hostage by it. But you're holding yourself hostage. It's like a fucking spin zone of the century because nobody's doing it to you but you. But you can't let yourself do that. Like, it's you versus you. It's a Spider-Man meme.
yeah, you just can't decide not to, because then it's gone in February, and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait to get back to late August, which is where we're almost.
Yeah,
at, thank God.
exactly. Like right when football ends. Well, first of all, it's March Madness, and then after that, it's like. And if you can't tell, we're very excited for football season. That's what we've just talked about for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, as the regular season is starting in football, the playoffs are starting in golf. I do have one comment related to the start of the week, times, all that stuff, and talking about golf courses making weekends on a Friday. Getting a tee time nowadays is the most ridiculous process in the fucking planet. And I can't believe that it's not. Like, I can't believe people get tee times anywhere. We wanted to play somewhere for a buddy's fantasy football punishment coming up before our draft. And we're looking as a group of 8 for, we're trying to wake up at 5 a.m. to get 10 days out. This course allows 14 days out. Everything's booked. I'm asking like 3 of my friends that work at courses. They're all booked. I do not know how you get a tee time nowadays if you just want to play a regular course. And thank God I'm a member at a place now. I know that sounds uppity. I can get a lot of tee times that I want, and certain, it's not just overcrowded, but every golf course you look at, the first thing you can find is 12 or 1 p.m. And that's like not even a good golf course. The good ones, it's like 3 or 4 on a weekend day or even a Friday.
If that. Yeah, not even that.
I just cannot believe there's golf being played. And this is the most cutthroat thing in the world right now in the everyday life of a golfer, is just making a tee time.
Yeah, I will say since COVID, country clubs have benefited the most from this because, well, they're getting as much play as they want. Like, they kind of control how much play they get and how many members they bring in. But there's no shortage of country club members at this point because the grind of booking a public tee time week in and week out, more or less, like even booking more than one, could you imagine that? Like, if you tried to play 3-4 times a week, you'd be up all night waiting for that fucking the clock to strike midnight just so you can book a tee time. Like the public golf life is just, we love public golf. Obviously, that's what we grew up playing. That's all we really still play. I mean, you play at your country club, but you still play a fair amount at other places. It's fucking obscene, dude. It is. And quick tip for people that. I will say, if you can go play in the afternoon, I think this is a good tip. Always look at what the twilight time is at a public golf course, and look at a tee time the hour before that, because everybody wants that discounted rate. If you're willing to, fork over the extra $15 or $20, that hour before twilight always seems to be like the least busy time of day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked about that out at the Rose when we were out there.
Yeah,
like the 2 to 3 p.m. or depending upon when you do twilight, do it at 3 to 4 p.m. It's like a full open, and that's how it used to be for us. When back in my day, when we worked at the golf course, if you looked for if somebody called for a weekend tee time before COVID, let's say before COVID, because obviously that blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
But before COVID, if somebody called for a weekend tee time on a Tuesday or Wednesday, we'd probably be booked from about 8-ish, 7:45, maybe a few people squeezed in, 8 to 10, 11 o'clock, and then 11 to 12, 1, 2, kind of sporadic.
Yeah.
2 to 3, a little more sporadic, and then at 4 with Super Twilight, it would get a little more busy. But you could always play before 8, which is what we were trying to do this weekend. Like, we weren't stupid and trying to play back-to-back groups at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We were trying to play at 6:20. And we did find 6:20, 6:30, 6:40. By the time we all decided that was a good time, they'd already been booked. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just freaking obscene, dude. Like, the amount of people playing golf. Golf courses, I don't know if people get this. If you're a relatively new golfer, golf courses as a business used to be a losing proposition. Like, golf course owners used to consistently lose money year in, year out. Kind of a labor of love type thing. Like, you had to be, obviously, either way, you have to be wealthy to own a golf course. But nowadays, people are actually buying golf courses to make money, which, if you've been in the golf industry for a long time, you realize that has not been the case literally the entirety of American golf history up until like these last 4 or 5 years, which is fucking insane because we've seen the growth year over year over year. Actually, speaking real quick, within the golf industry, Topgolf is taking it on the chin currently. You saw that news?
Yeah, it's they've quickly oversaturated the market with too many different simulator places. Second of all, in a place where I guess any place, like whether it's hot all year round or golfable all year round, like in Arizona, or here, in the summertime, it's just not a good business model.
Yeah.
No, people that play golf want to go actually play golf if they can get a fucking tee time. Shit, we should have looked at Topgolf for a tee time. That may have been better. But you either want to go
I bet they have openings.
You either want to go play actual golf, or you want to, in the wintertime, it's a better business model. Or if it's hot all the time, you're not playing golf anyway, so you're not going to Topgolf. You're not like, well, I don't want to go actually golf, so maybe I'll go to Topgolf. It's kind of, it took the world by storm when it came out, simulators, all that stuff. But now there's too many simulator bars. There's too many top flight ranges or whatever you call them. And unless you're a grinder and want to practice, you're not going. If you're a grinder and want to practice, you're not going to Topgolf.
I am going to give Topgolf this idea for free. I don't even want any royalties. Maybe I will down the line if this turns their business around. But they should really do seasonal pricing. Like in the summertime, they should charge $20 an hour or less, or $25 an hour. And then in the wintertime, sure, charge the $65, $75 an hour when nobody can actually get out and play golf. And then in fall and spring, you charge like a shoulder rate. Like on a rainy spring day or, a snowy fall day, whatever, people still want to go inside. But the fact that Topgolf is the same price year round, like I've gone to a Topgolf in New Jersey, sweat my fucking horn off. Like it was the worst experience of my life because beating ball, like they don't cool you down. They definitely can warm you up in a Topgolf, but they can't cool you down really. So like I was sweating through my glove. Like hitting range balls when it's hot out isn't fun no matter where you're doing it. So you're not going to go book 2 hours at Topgolf, be overly hot, spend $150, and then somehow still want to drink and spend money on food and shit. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I am spending my money on, though, other than Topgolf, is these bad boys, the Lucy nicotine. It is 100% pure nicotine and always tobacco-free. They have pouches, they have gum, and they have the breakers. Last night, I went and switched it up. So I'm a variety guy. You know that. I'm a variety guy with my drinks. I'm a variety guy with my nicotine. I can't just, you like to play the hits. You're a wintergreen all the time. For me, depends upon how I'm feeling. Right now, I do have the Wintergreen 8s. Phenomenal product. Lucy is our new favorite nicotine. It's available in 4 milligrams, 8 milligrams, or even all the way up to 12 milligram pouches. If you're not a pouch person, they also have gum, nicotine gum. It has helped our mom a ton. She just, she's not a pouch lady. I want to see the oldest person that puts in a Lucy pouch. The oldest female that puts in a Lucy pouch. That'd be an interesting debate. Just seeing our mom with a pouch in would be wild. But she's a big gum gal, so she uses the gum. Helps her with her nicotine addiction, which she used to smoke and then got out of it, but now still I think has the nicotine thing.
And gum actually hits. Gum is...
Does it?
You ever tried nicotine gum?
I've never tried nicotine gum.
Dude, you should order some Lucy nicotine gum because I guarantee you it's a great sensation because I was obsessed with chewing gum as a child, like middle school, high school. I always had a pack of gum on me. I've always had this kind of oral fixation. But then you're getting a little bit of a buzz off of a piece of gum. You're like, where was this shit when I was 16? Obviously, that's not legal. I don't condone that. But getting a buzz off a piece of gum is electric.
I am going to have to try that now. But level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/BDE and use promo code BDE to get 20% off of your first order with Lucy Nicotine. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co. Use code BDE and to get 20% off. And as always, free shipping. I'm going to have to check. I'm going to have to put another order in here soon. I think I got my auto ship coming, but I like to switch it up and change what I get. I'm back into the mint now, so... Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Shady Rays. I was riding my bike to work today, rocking some Shady Rays. They kept the sun out of my eyes and also kept a very fierce bug out of my eye. As I was biking down the street, had one go right into my right cornhole. My right cornea. And so thank God for Shady Rays because otherwise I might be blind in one eye today. Shady Rays are extremely affordable sunglasses. And they, like we've talked about all the time, we'll never get over it. They're going to have a contest at our tournament this Friday where I'll be wearing my Shady Rays, of course. Shout out to Shady Rays for partnering with us for our golf tournaments. But they're an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their premium polarized shades won't break the bank. Get the Green Wolf golf glasses. They're polarized. They're incredible. Go to our Instagram and see how much different the golf course looks. I know it's a camera, so it's not quite as good as the human eye, but really gives you a good idea of what a polarized shade will do for you on the golf course. So we're always wearing them on the golf course. I was wearing them at the wedding up until we weren't allowed to wear them anymore. I wear them on my bike rides. I wear them outside. Anytime I go outside and it's sunny out, which it has been quite a bit here, I'm rocking my Shady Rays. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best discount of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Let's talk about how bright the future is. That's a Shady Rays segment. Let's talk about how bright the future is for Aaron Rai.
Or how shady Matt Kuchar's move was.
Oh, you want to start with the shady? It was shady Matt Kuchar move. All right, let's start with that. So, for those of you that don't know or didn't watch the Wyndham Championship, don't necessarily blame you. Playoffs are coming up. Save your golf watching time for the playoffs. The next 3 weeks going to be an electric couple of weeks on the PGA Tour. We're going to be there for the whole BMW next week. Make sure to check out our coverage, although we're not allowed to have phones, and we'll get into how we felt about that because we already feel a certain way. There's a few things that have gone down. We already feel a certain way about CPGC and the BMW, but we won't get into that today. We do want to talk about Matt Kuchar. At the Wyndham Championship, he's in one of the the final group of the day, and they had to play 36 holes yesterday, so rained out on Thursday, weathered out. The golf course workers got their ass just handed to them Thursday night into Friday. Get the course ready for Friday. They go Friday, Saturday, and then 36 holes on Sunday. So it was an absolute marathon for all the players on the tour yesterday. And not only that was it a marathon for the golf course, for the players, but it made it even more hyped up, the fact that 36 holes meant a lot of players either going to the playoffs or not going to the playoffs. There was guys moving 69 to 71. They'd make a putt, go back to 60. It was just an insane day on the PGA Tour in golf, and Matt Kuchar made it even longer.
Yeah, he basically royally screwed over the entire superintendent staff, the entire maintenance staff, and all the volunteers, because I think all of them had to come back out, or at least, a significant amount of them, for Matt Kuchar to finish his one hole. And he was halfway through, which is the wild, social media blew up. I would say almost second to Scotty Scheffler's arrest. I haven't seen more people on golf social media being like, what the fuck just happened? Matt Kuchar hits his drive into basically hitting. It was the funniest image. I don't know if I know we don't have it because it's PGA Tour license, but did you see when he was hitting his drive, they zoomed out from they had a camera behind the green zooming back towards the tee box. One of the caddies was laying belly down, on the ground, because he heard somebody hit the ball. This fucking dude's laying on his belly. Everybody else is looking around. There's 2 Rangers over to the left. They almost get hit with the tee shot. And then they go over and then apparently Kuchar said that he didn't know that they were teeing, or that there were people in the fairway. Well, which is the most bonkers shit.
Yeah, do you think it's bonkers of the fact that he actually you don't believe him?
I don't believe that he's
why else would he hit?
Because you have to hit the ball off the tee on 18 before they blow the horn for you to be able to finish that hole.
So you think he sped up to try to finish the hole and then completely delayed that entire process by not finishing the hole?
Yes, that is the kind of dickhead that he is. He did a complete 180. Emma, if you could pull up that first tweet that we've got. So Matt Kuchar, after he finishes the round, he was done before Aaron Rai had finished. I was trying to set an example for Max. We were so far past when we should have stopped play. By me not playing, I thought it might show Max he's got an important shot to hit. Still seems like a strange way to help a playing partner, especially since the player wound up finishing anyways. So yes, objectively hilarious that Matt Kuchar saying he's helping Max, when in all reality, he was making everything about himself, taking all of the focus off Max. And then you look at a guy like Billy Horschel on the other side of Matt Kuchar, who's rooting on Aaron Rai the entire time, encouraging him, being the fucking homie for him, and visibly fist pumping when Aaron Rai made that putt to basically seal it on 18. You look at those two dudes, and there's strictly one way to be a veteran on the PGA Tour and the other way to be a veteran on the PGA Tour, and Matt Kuchar is not that fucking dude.
Well, I'm actually going to play devil's advocate here.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
On not the entire situation, because the entire situation is crazy. But you know how when you have, I feel like I get this a lot, where you have a situation that you feel like saying this certain thing will get you out of it, or it'll be like an actual reason that you got yourself into that situation or made that decision. And even though it sounds crazy, it actually makes sense. And this whole thing with Kuchar, I do believe that there is some part of the truth where if he was saying he was trying to set an example for Max, well, if you had known, or like if they had known where everybody was at, Max would have needed birdie at the time to tie on the 18th hole.
Yeah.
And then obviously what happened, he would have needed a hole out from the fairway. But basically what it was saying is he was trying to set an example for Max and say, hey man, you need to birdie this hole to win a tournament. I already think it's too dark out here. We need to stop play now. Now,
but then they should have done that before the tee shot.
Yes. Did his actions directly reflect that? Probably not. But I do think there's some truth in it. And Kuchar's already got apparently a reputation a little bit, so that doesn't help him.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, if you were a vet and you see this guy who's had the most insane back nine leading a tournament that we've seen since Jordan Spieth days, probably, and you're like, hey, dude, you need to make birdie to tie this hole, to tie this tournament, and then go into a playoff, which would have been today, or who knows what they would have done. But making him stop and not play that entire hole. Now, Max obviously made it worse and made him look like a bigger idiot. But think about if Max would have, I think Max was just checked out at that point.
Yeah.
And when he knew Rai made birdie, he was like, I'm not holding out. Like, I'm going to finish.
Just dumped in the bunker on 18.
But do you think that if Rai hadn't have made birdie, that Max might have done the same thing and might have said, hey, like, all I need is a birdie to tie this tournament and get my first PGA Tour win and change my life. I'm going to mark my ball where it's at and play the rest of it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just think that you don't tee off on 18 in the first place then. That is, I totally understand what you're saying, and that actually would have made for a very electric fucking one-hole stretch if Max would have decided to mark his ball and not play. Like you said, obviously Rai making birdie on 18 sealed the deal, so it really didn't make much of a difference. But if Rai wouldn't have made birdie and Max decided to mark that, could you imagine? But then Rai has to stay. I mean, Max was doing what was right, regardless of not right. And it's so hard because, like you said, it's about his own personal career. He doesn't need to worry about the superintendent staff. But going back to it, that's what made Matt Kuchar look like such a douchebag. I think people would have gotten it if it would have been Max. They would have been like, you have to get up and down for your first PGA Tour win. Like, this changes your life. All of this. Matt Kuchar's made $60 million on the PGA Tour. The difference between making par or bogey on 18 was like $50,000. So what is that? Quick math.
He's made $58.9 million, so it's 1% of what he's made.
Yes.
And actually maybe even less than that.
No, it's 0.5%.
Yeah, 0.1%. 58,000 to 58 million.
Oh,
is
yeah.
0.1% of what he's made on tour. And maybe he's somebody. I saw some people saying Kuchar's must be broke if he's working.
He wants
this hard.
those Wyndham rewards points. He wants another free hotel stay.
Yeah, which when you look at the grand scope of things, there was another guy that backs up PGA. I think it was was that Jason Sobel that we just saw? There was another guy that was like, oh, if he makes birdie versus making bogey, it's $100,000 difference. I'd be waiting to play the last hole if I was Kuchar too. And so you always got the defenders out there.
Yeah,
but wildly known as not the greatest guy on tour, and then he kind of cemented that because they were so confused on the broadcast. They were like, was there a horn? They're like, was there a horn we didn't hear? And seeing the guys, like, can you imagine too, maybe Kuchar purposely pulled it left because he didn't actually want to hit
That's
Rai.
why I think he almost aimed over there.
If he fucking hit Aaron Rai as he's about to hit his approach shot to win his first ever tournament when he's been knocking down the door for months.
Matt Kuchar would not give a single fuck. It's about, and that's where it goes back to him not caring about anybody else in the group in front of him. He's caring about himself. I will say, Aaron Rai is slower than molasses.
Aaron Rai and Billy Horschel in the same group is wow.
Well, Aaron Rai's very he moves like a sloth. Billy Horschel moves like he just got fucking hit with a taser, but they end up hitting the shot just as quickly as one another. It's just how they go about it. Aaron Rai stands there like legitimately looks like he's moving in slow motion. Billy Horschel's fucking inch. He looks like the 65-year-old dudes with yips that we used to see out at our golf course. Like he's fucking.
He was doing the Dennis. He's doing the Dennis Farrell before he putts every single time.
Let's see the Dennis Farrell.
He's like his neck is like going like this, and he's like setting his club down.
If you've never seen like the intricate routines of old men, they have all these different routines, and none of them are good. And none of them are good at golf. They don't give a shit. They do the exact same thing every time because it works for them. That's all that really matters. But yeah, just the whole Kuchar situation was really like disappointing to me because he is such a veteran. Like we talked about, he's made $60 million on tour, and he just had to make it somehow about himself when it's about two dudes that don't have a PGA Tour win yet, that are coming down the stretch that are, I just don't think he has the ability to put himself in anybody else's shoes. And for him, like, can you imagine anybody else talk about like pulling your proverbial dick out? He's like, I'm just not playing anymore. I'm just not finishing. Who else is going to do that? You think Max Grieserman's going to walk over to the official and be like, I'm not playing anymore. I'm coming back tomorrow. But no, Kuchar's the 25-year veteran that thinks he's got the pull to go up to a PGA Tour official and just tell him, I'm done. And I think that's horseshit. Like, I can't say enough. You just look at Kuchar and you know he's an uppity douchebag.
Well, and
the haircut,
watching him swing, the way he swings the club, the way he putts, he's just a kind of a disaster.
Yes, he is that old like boomer type person that you, as a server, would hate to see walk into a restaurant.
Oh yeah, and he's
also going to tip you 10%, and that's if you're good.
He needed to win that tournament in order to make the playoffs for his 17th consecutive year and be the only player on tour who's made the playoffs every year since the playoffs were inception of in 2007. So, but there was none of that when it got down to the end of it. Real quick, I do want to talk more about Aaron Rai, Max Grieserman, but before we get to that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Rugged Road. Rugged Road makes the best coolers out there. I know you've heard of all these other brands, but Rugged Road really has the best product. And we had one in the office the other day, and I was opening it, checking it out. And one of the coolest things it has, first of all, it has way more room than all these other coolers. You buy these expensive coolers where 3/4 of them are insulated, and you can barely fit half the stuff into it, and you're carrying this big heavy thing. Well, Rugged Road coolers are super light. They're innovative, durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Their products are designed for the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road is built to accompany you on every adventure. Also, one of the cool things about their coolers is it has a little, almost like a fridge, has a little shelf in the top of it that you can slide left or right. So if you want to put some stuff in there that you don't necessarily want to be under the ice or on the ice, but you want to keep it cold, you can do that as well. And one of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright, so you never lose a drink. You can put it in there if it's floating on some calm water, and you can just leave your drink opened in there, unless you got the Coors Light cans with the twist off. That's always the way to go. But Rugged Road coolers do float, so that's an incredible feature to their product. And like I said, so light, so dependable, way better than any of the other products that you buy and can barely fit anything into. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code ALLCITY to save 10% off your cooler. I got myself a Rugged Road at home. Excited to start using it. Camping season's kind of over here, but tailgate season is here. That means filling up my cooler, putting it in the back of my truck, and rocking out at a tailgate. So use that code ALLCITY for 10% off at Rugged Road. All right, let's not talk so much about Matt Kuchar and what he did, because he lost and actually it was kind of electric because the video, he almost chipped it in for birdie, which would have been kind of insane because that would have been his big FU to everyone.
Well, and we forgot to mention he got relief from an imaginary scoreboard. Did you not realize that? The first thing he did when he got out to the fairway, or he hit it in the opposite fairway, whatever hole that was, to the left. The first thing he did was call over a rules official and get relief. You didn't realize that?
No.
So just doubling down on being the biggest tool on the entire PGA Tour, he goes and does that. And then, yes, he did almost chip it in, which would have been legendary. But just the whole thing just rubs me the wrong way entirely.
Yeah, well, let's talk about what rubbed us the right way, and that was Aaron Rai getting his first PGA Tour win. We've had him on the card multiple times. He's maybe the first guy that could have been blacklist territory, blacklist territory that did the opposite. Went out and won a golf tournament.
We stuck with him.
Once again, a guy that, and an ending, just like we saw in the Olympics, that you would have never... When I was watching Max Grieserman hole out to go to 17 under when Rai was at 19 under when Rai was at 15 and have a 4-shot lead with like 5 holes left, I would have bet my life savings on a Grieserman win at that point. Even though he's never won before, giving up 4 shots... I literally stopped watching for a minute. I was like, okay, well, we know this tournament's over. I'm going to go find a Max Grieserman picture on Imogen. We're going to have to talk about him all day tomorrow. And somehow, some way, quadruple bogey, Aaron Rai. So do you think Aaron Rai won the tournament, or do you think Max Grieserman gave it up? Like, there's obviously some truth to both, but where do you think it stands in the 50-50 scale? It's a tug of war. We got Rai over here, and we got Grieserman over here. And they're tug of war.
Going skiing over here. I think that Aaron Rai he's the model of consistency. He does the exact same routine every time, no matter how fucking slow it is. He hangs in there. He doesn't hit the ball a long way at all. He hits it baby cut, hits it dead straight, hits a bunch of fairways, super consistent short game, super consistent with the putter. Like, I think he won that tournament, and that is the beauty of golf, like, in a microcosm there is the dude that makes a bunch of birdies doesn't always win. You know, the guy that hits it shorter, Max Grieserman, is everything that Aaron Rai isn't. And they're somehow compete. And then you look at like Matt Kuchar's game. He plays like Aaron Rai. He doesn't do anything. He's nothing flashy. He doesn't hit far, but he's very good around the greens, and he has no weakness. So I think that Aaron Rai personally won it. I know you're going to say Grieserman lost it. But just hanging in there and not being affected. Like when Grieserman holed out for eagle, do you think that fucking Aaron Rai was like, oh God, now I got to press for birdie? He laid up on the easiest hole on the course, number 15, a par 5, and made par right after Grieserman. Well, not right after, but when he saw Grieserman hole out for eagle, he was down, what, 4 shots, 5 shots?
Four was the lead with like 5 or 6 holes to play.
Yeah, so did you see Aaron Rai press at all? No, he literally just kept hitting golf shots. And by the way, to make birdie on 18, he pars 17, pars 16, pars 15, which 15 is very easy relative to PGA Tour standards. And then to birdie 18, which is a 510-yard par 4, like to hit that approach shot under those circumstances, that is like as clutch as it gets. We haven't really seen anybody, I feel like, as of recently, like really clutch up, especially a dude that hasn't won, to pull off a shot like that. I think Aaron Rai was just really good when he needed to be. And the cool thing is, like you mentioned him earlier, like we've bet on him the last few months a few times, and we've hit some of those each way 1 through 12s. But he is legitimately like a stock that just keeps going up. Like you could see he was trending in a direction, trending. I can say trending one more time. And then he finally hit the pinnacle and wins an event. Like you see a lot of those dudes that, like Cam Young. Look at Cam Young. How many times has he gotten close, including this
10
week?
10 top 10s in his career, 7 runner-ups.
Including this week where he was tied for the lead, I think, going into the 4th round, going into the final round, or within 2 of the lead. Where does he finish? He finishes like 8 or 9 off the lead. So, like, you could look at Aaron Rai and just be like, well, he's going to win eventually. He keeps, finishing in the top 10, in the top 5. He keeps knocking on the door. But some guys never get through that door. Like, you give me Cameron Young's golf game and Aaron Rai's golf game, and you tell me who's going to win first? That's fucking bananas that Aaron Rai is that guy to win first. But that just shows you talent doesn't mean everything in the game of golf. And that's what's so electric about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I will say, if Aaron Rai shot 6 under on Sunday to win, or Sunday's second round.
64.
He shot 64 in the second round, and Grieserman just shot 1 under. And so there's definitely a case that Aaron Rai won the event. I think the Grieserman quadruple bogey to basically like hand it to him at the point makes it feel like he lost it, but I honestly would argue that Aaron Rai went out and won the tournament, and he is the model of consistency. He has been on tour for the last couple of weeks without winning, the last couple of months. I mean, it seems like every day, seems like a first-round leader bet is out there for Aaron Rai every week, or he's in the top 5 entering the weekend and just hasn't been able to get it done. And now the thing I love about the PGA Tour and these players that are, especially events like this where it's not necessarily a bunch of big names, they're gearing up for the playoffs. I love the fact that like now Aaron Rai, just by whether it was dumb luck, whether it was a combination of Grieserman not finishing as well as he could have, clearly making 8s, and then eagle, like just an absolutely bonkers back 9.
Eagle, quad, birdie, 4-putt double.
Yeah, and that was that was the roller coaster of all roller coasters. I bet
3 over on 4 holes.
Yeah,
that's fucking insane.
Some people have done that in just like normal everyday golf.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I'm sure. Probably eagle 8, birdie 4
2 8 4
4.
No, 5. 2 8 4 5.
2 8 4 5. That sounds like one of those Rick James or Rick Ross songs, like when you're announcing a phone number. But so Max Grieserman is, he's gonna be here on tour for a while. He's a rookie, playing really well. He's been another guy that you actually talked about almost picking him this past week. But the thing I love about the tour is now Rai becomes a guy that you're like, how good can he really be? Because now that he's got a win under his belt with all the top 10s and top 5s he's had the last couple of months, now you're like, okay, now he can win. And now next week, literally just next week at the playoffs, if he's in it, you're like, oh, this guy's got all the confidence in the world. We can see a Lucas Glover reenactment from last year where he wins the event going into the playoffs and then wins back-to-back weeks. And now that I'm saying this out loud and thinking about it, I'm going to have to take Aaron Rai again this week, I think. It's just going to have to happen. But we talked about it on the pod last week, and I was like, oh, Nikolai Højgaard could be the guy that shoots over par, missed the cut. Whatever. But now it's
so did Kurt Kitayama, so he missed, didn't shoot over par, but he also missed the cut. So we whiffed on that.
Exactly. But it's kind of formulated my thinking now, and I'm like, okay, now Aaron Rai feels like he can win it. I might go win it. And did you see what his caddy said? His caddy was like, Aaron doesn't drink, so I'm gonna have a few drinks for him. And
of course he doesn't drink.
His caddy has been his caddy for 6 years, and he was very like thankful, and you could just tell he's like English dude. He's like, I've been with Aaron for 6 years. This guy's the hardest worker. He's like, it's all about Aaron. It's not about me. So that was cool to see, and he definitely should have. I would have been like, oh yeah, 2 beers for us. He just won the PGA Tour event. One over here. I'm going to drink both of them.
I'm sure he got absolutely wrecked last night. But another cool thing about Aaron Rai, he turned pro at 17. Self-admittedly said it was way too early, but he said he learned so much. So this is his 12th year as a pro. He didn't have any status anywhere until his 5th year as a pro. Stayed on the DP World Tour for I want to say 3 or 4 years before he won on the DP World Tour. Then got status on the PGA Tour, has been over here for 3 years, multiple top 10s, whatever, and now he finally wins on the PGA Tour. So, the ultimate no skip steps, the process. Aaron Rai trusted the process and did it 10 times better than the Philadelphia 76ers will ever do it because he actually fucking won something.
Yeah, and that was kind of a mic drop type of moment, but yeah, he won on the Challenge Tour, then won on the DP World Tour a couple of times, and was kind of like giving off the Tommy Fleetwood vibes of like, okay, this guy's won overseas, he's won on the DP World Tour, but can he actually ever win a tour event? We know he can, we know he's got the game for it, but will he actually get over the hump and do it? And he did it. And
can we talk about if he's going to bring 2 gloves back? We had Tommy 2 gloves Gainey, if you've been a golf fan long enough. Absolute backwoods hick from South Carolina. He wore 2 gloves. We haven't seen a dude on tour consistently wear 2 gloves again until now, Aaron Rai. Do you think he's making that a popular thing? Will it ever be a popular thing?
I bet. I don't think he resonates a ton with the American kids, but I bet kids from Wolverhampton, England, where he's from, I feel like
that's a badass town.
Yeah, I feel like those kids now watching him will be like, and he's obviously, if you look at him, he doesn't look like an Englishman. He's the son of his grandparents on his mom's side came over from India, so he's got the mix of India and English because it's both one of his parents basically they started working and living in England, and that's why he's a 2 gloves guy. He's an iron covers guy, which drives a lot of people insane. But when you look at the story, as much as we want to say, oh, it's a douchey golf move, and it kind of is for some people, but his dad didn't have very much money as a kid and would always buy him the nicest golf stuff. And when you have the nicest stuff, you can tell
protect it at all
you can
costs.
tell people that protect and clean their own shit and keep their shit clean. They just seem like organized, nice individuals.
Yeah.
And that's what Aaron Rai is. And so if you want to spin iron covers into a good way, which is a tough thing to do, Aaron Rai is the guy that you would spin it off of, because he does not look like your typical, like, I made a joke yesterday. The dude has more hair on his biceps than I have on my whole body. And it's just a different type of cat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and the way he goes about his golf game, very methodical. And what's funny is the way he does everything is fucking annoying and not cool until he wins.
Yeah, and it
now
works.
it's like, okay, you have a reason to do this.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, that's like profound, because that's life in general. Like, everybody tells you you're not going to do something, like this sucks, this and this, and then you are successful, and then people start like copycatting you. And then you're like, oh shit, okay, that actually works. Like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. We obviously see that every week in golf, and we've touched on it a million times on this podcast, but one of the coolest things about golf, in my opinion, is look at the different types of athletes you have in golf and who wins week in and week out. It's different almost every week. And you don't have to be 6'8", 240 pounds in order to play golf. You don't have to be anything to play golf. You can literally get out there, no matter who the hell you are, and be as good at golf as you want to be. And that's like my favorite thing about it.
Yeah, let's also give a shout out from the Wyndham Championship to Luke Clanton. So he's an amateur and absolutely playing his ass off. He joins one other player as the only 2 amateurs in PGA Tour history since 1961 with 3 top 10s in a PGA Tour season, and that's Jack Nicklaus. And it'd be funny to see, obviously they were showing the points race and all that throughout as we got down the stretch on Sunday and where guys are at, and he just had the sliced out, like he doesn't have any points, he's not rated obviously because he's an amateur. And it would be interesting to see, this goes kind of back to the Nick Dunlap, who's now a multiple time PGA Tour winner.
Wild.
But kind of goes back to that concept of like, do you kind of feel for Luke Clanton, the fact that he's just playing this good at golf right now in this moment and he hasn't made any money off of it? He's going to continue to get some sponsors exemptions here and there, but 3 top 10s in a PGA Tour season, he didn't play a full schedule, but imagine you play a full schedule, you get 3 top 10s, you he's probably in the top 70. And Nick Dunlap barely made the top 70, winning an event as a pro and winning his event as an amateur. But do you kind of feel for Luke Clanton not being able to collect? There's an NIL and there's all these. He's got Union home mortgage on his hat.
Yeah, it's so
and stuff,
wild with NIL now how you can't tell who's an amateur and who's a pro, because he's still covered in logos. He's still making money off of this. But just like I genuinely, do you know why Luke Clanton hasn't turned pro? Like, because I haven't looked into it, but I don't see why he keeps I think that he could get, no, I guess he can't get a special PGA Tour exemption unless he wins or finishes top 3. I think gets you into the next, or does top 10 get you into the next week? I can't remember.
Depends upon the event, but normally like a top 10 finish is an automatic.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he hasn't turned pro yet, because it feels like he's in contention like every week. So it's similar, like you said, to the Nick Dunlap situation where you kind of got to capitalize on this golf while you're playing it. And I mean, unless he is getting these exemptions only based on him being an AM, and if he turned pro, he'd lose these exemptions. But other than that, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't turn pro at this point, having 3 top 10s on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, it's been a pretty, solo 5th at the Wyndham, and he got cut at the 3M. He finished 37th at the ISCO Championship. I'm trying to go through some of his results here. Tied for 2nd at the John Deere Classic. And then top 10 at the Rocket Mortgage. So all of this as well has been late June through now. So a 6-week period, he's got 3 top 10s as an amateur in a 6-week period. So
insane.
shout out to Luke Clanton, 20 years old. He's at Florida State. So one of the top AMs, if not the top AM. And I got to imagine, isn't there...
Was that your chair?
Yeah, that was my chair.
Okay.
Isn't there something at Hazeltine this weekend? Like
The U.S. Amateur.
Yeah, so is he in that?
I got to imagine it's the first week of the playoffs, so he's got to be in the U.S. Amateur. That's probably why maybe he's staying amateur so he can go win the U.S. AM and then he gets the exemptions to next year. But then that just keeps him in his amateur status if he wins and gets a Masters invite and all that shit as the U.S. Amateur champion.
Yeah, so he is right now the number 3 rated men's world golf amateur ranking player.
Holy
behind
shit.
Gordon Sargent and Jackson Coiven.
Okay. Gordon Sargent. I feel like every time Gordon Sargent plays in a big event, he plays poorly. Like anytime I've seen him on TV, I haven't seen him like contend one time. Yet he's the number 1 amateur in the world.
Yeah, I those all the rankings and stuff are kind of, for amateurs, they're not as messed up as they are for pros. But let's talk about the Gutschewskis for a second, because this is an insane story, one of like an all-time, like once in a lifetime type of thing, where Scott, I think I'm saying it correctly, Scott Gutschewski has 4 kids total. And this past week at the Korn Ferry Tour start, he played with 2 of his sons. So I'll read this just quick from Monday Q Info. Never heard of professional golfer calling a PGA Tour tournament director and asking not to get an exemption, but that is precisely what Scott Gutschewski did. The result of not receiving an exemption for the Wyndham Championship resulted in him getting a Korn Ferry Tour Pinnacle Bank Championship tee time in his hometown of Omaha, playing the opening 2 rounds with his 2 sons, Luke and Trevor.
That is unreal. Like, brothers playing in a tour event's insane. Has there ever been 2 brothers and a dad to play in the same event on any tour like that you have to qualify for? Because that is like the coolest shit ever. And then it was so funny in the replies because the dad tweeted about, he's like, I got a tee time with these 2. Hopefully they don't show up to the tee late. And then one of the kids is like, I just drained your tank of gas. Like, you're not gonna be able to get to the course tomorrow. And then both of his sons are just chirping him in the replies. So like, that's got to be the cool, and just the fact that they're like taking it like this and having fun with it. Like, talk about all-time coolest moments. That's no matter how far, like Gutschewski, the youngest Gutschewski, just won the junior amateur, correct? He was the one who just won the junior am.
I'm not sure of that.
No, he did win the junior am, and then his college brother plays. You got to look this up. Where the brother plays at a big time university. I think he's like in the top 25 of like college golfers. He's a very good college golfer. So sounds like golf runs in the family there. I'm jealous. But yeah, the coolest fucking experience of all time for those guys.
Well, and the best part is, so they actually had him mic'd up for a little bit on the Korn Ferry Tour. So good social media job by the Korn Ferry Tour there. But kind of funny to see, obviously when your dad's a PGA Tour / Korn Ferry Tour player. So guess their finishes. Who do you think in the tournament finished the highest, and then who do you think finished the lowest? Did the dad get the better of the kids? Did the kids get the better of the dad? Do you know?
I do not.
Okay, so guess.
I bet the college kid. The college kid finished top out of the 3, and then the dad, and then the youngest.
Okay, so Scott, he got tied T21. He was 6 under par, the dad.
Okay.
And then the 2 kids finished. Luke, the amateur, finished 2 over, missed the cut. And Trevor, another amateur, finished 5 over. So
Dad's still fucking giving him the work.
Like, that's kind of funny to me because
that's legendary. If you're the dad, you have 2 kids that are both like top amateurs in the world, and you're still beating their ass.
Yeah, and you're like, Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I actually have a weekend tea time. You guys can come fucking carry my bag.
He
One of you
fucking
on
he
each
walks
day.
walks in the house that day like with his chest all puffed out. King of the castle, king of the castle, la 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 la. Yeah, that is so sick. That's talk about like a power move as a dad. One, to have your two kids in the field, both as amateurs playing in a professional event like that, and then to be like, fuck that, I'm not taking this from them, and just whooping that ass.
Yeah, I'm going to go make a check. You guys can't make a check anyways, but you're both going to miss the cut.
Yeah, he shows up. He's like, I bought the milk. Don't worry, guys. I made the check this weekend.
Yeah, what are you guys doing the rest of this weekend? Because it's not playing golf, and I'm still in. All right, let's talk about, before we get to our mulligan of the week, let's talk about the Women's Olympics real quick. And Lydia Ko, one of the 4 Americans, but we had half the American field covered in our picks and lost. So shout out to Lydia Ko, gold medal.
Yeah, it just adds to her legendary career, like Lorena Ochoa, like Annika Sorenstam. And unfortunately, she's already mentioned retirement. She's not even, I don't even think she's 30 years old yet. Yeah, I think she's even like 28, maybe something like that. But she's already mentioned retiring. Like, she thinks there's more to life than golf. She wants to go get her, I think she obviously went to, there she is. I don't think she went to college because she turned pro when she was like 16. So I think she actually wants to go to college and then like get her master's or get her doctorate, some shit like that. I don't think she will have a problem with student loans though. I think she's got the cash on hand. She might just stroke him a check up front for whatever college she wants to go to because she's made plenty of money. But I also think this week made her eligible for the World Golf Hall of Fame, for the Women's World Golf Hall of Fame, if I am not mistaken. So obviously a huge win. You get the gold medal. Fun fact, did you know that current gold medals, so back in like the 1920s and previous, the gold medals were 100% gold. Guess what percent they are gold now?
25.
1% gold.
Really?
They're basically like gold. There's like gold fucking flakes from the Goldschlager vodka, like sprinkled in a gold medal. It's a joke.
Well, one thing I found out during these Olympics too is apparently this year, and this must be a customized thing based on the city that the Olympics are being held in, but this year part of the Eiffel Tower was in all of the medals.
Oh, that's
Like, so it's like
like chiseled off part of the Eiffel Tower.
I didn't read too deep into it. I just kind of skimmed over the article, but yeah, it's basically every medal from the France Olympics has a little part of the Eiffel Tower in it. So that it's taken away from the gold though.
Do you know what I was today years old also when I found out is that, or I found this out was the city, every different city that's in these Olympics gets to add their own specific events.
So breakdancing was France.
So flag football, since it's in LA, the US is adding flag football and baseball and like I forget what else, but those I had no idea. So like next, when I heard breakdancing, I'm like, what the fuck? But then it's gone again next Olympics. So there's certain events that only are participants in these Olympics because they're in the home country that like selected it.
That's kind of electric. I like that.
Right? That's fun fact.
Fun fact, the silver medalist, Esther Heinzelit from Germany. Her name's Esther.
Esther.
She's not bad to look at either. But when your name's Esther, I mean, I don't know. And then
that's your favorite neighborhood
bar.
Yeah.
Shout out to the neighborhood bar.
Shout out Esther's.
Fireplace. And then bronze medal, Ling Xiu.
Japan?
Chinese.
Okay.
From China.
Good one, Mitchell. Nice.
So, and Lydia Ko is New Zealand.
Yeah.
I thought she was American.
She played for her home country. Isn't that weird when people do that?
That's
they
an odd
play
concept.
from where they're from.
Yeah, that was
like Nikola Jokic does.
I don't want to talk about this. My Twitter's still blowing up from 3 days ago. Let's finish this Monday Winner's Circle edition up with our weekly segment of Mulligan of the Week. Mulligan of the Week is where we take a moment that happened to us or someone else. I'm changing it up a little bit this week.
Oh, okay.
And it's just basically a big mess of a moment, and we wish we could change it. So, do you want to start us off here?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. This is somewhat of a minor inconvenience, but it's fucking annoying. So whenever I go, I'm a big Diet Coke guy. No surprise, I'm like the face of Diet Coke. You look at me, you think Diet Coke. But when you go get like fast food, so the last 2 times, not fast food, but like I got Kava. By the way, Kava is like my favorite spot Emma, do you know what kava is?
No.
You've never heard of it? It's like it's like Chipotle, but for Greek food. So you can get like Greek bowls, like pitas, things like that. The food's fire. There's one off of like University in Evans or Colorado and Evans. If you want to go try it out, it's phenomenal. Hummus, a bunch of different kinds of hummus and a bunch of shit like that. So I go to Kava and I order a drink, a cup for a drink. They don't say anything. I go over and the soda machine's completely down. All they have are these shitty infused teas. Like, I'm not an iced tea guy. I think it tastes like dirt. All I could have was tea. And I'm like, why didn't they tell me this before I bought a cup for fucking to get whatever I wanted when I can only get 4 of the 12 things offered. And then today I went to Jimmy John's before this. And the DMV situation is still ongoing. And that's just a fire fest in my entire life. So I'm just Mulligan of the year. But I go to Jimmy John's and I order a drink. The fucking Diet Coke's out. And all they have otherwise is root beer or Sprite or Coca-Cola or water or lemonade. And I'm like, I want fucking Diet Coke. Like, so they just keep fucking me. Like, and I know it's not necessarily their job to tell you, but if you are out of sodas, I feel like it's kind of their job to inform you if they're out of like certain things, no matter what it is. Like, if they didn't have water, you think they'd tell you, right? You know?
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, we don't have any water for you. You get a free soda.
Yeah, but either way, they should have given me a fucking free cup because I ended up drinking water anyway. I didn't want any of that shit. I actually did put like a splash of Powerade in there, but I mixed like 1/3 Powerade and like 2/3 water. So I just a $2.50 drink for fucking nothing.
How did that taste?
It was not bad. Fucking Powerade's too like syrupy anyway, so it was fine. But it's just miniature inconveniences like that where it just keeps happening and just beats you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Like, I was looking forward to this fucking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And it's just small shit that like wants to send you over the edge sometimes.
Yeah, that's when my wife was pregnant, you actually went on one of those adventures with me. We were just trying to find a fountain Coke and we couldn't find a fountain fucking Coke anywhere. Everybody was either out of it or didn't have Coke. They had Pepsi. That was a mulligan of the week for us at that point. I write my mulligans of the week down on my notes and I had forgotten about this one. So the other day I was walking down the street of Colfax, interesting street. If you've been in Denver, ever lived in Denver, you know. But I was walking down the street and there was a homeless lady eating Popeyes. And I'm very awkward just in general. And I normally I have like in my center console of my car, I always have like a bunch of 1s and 5s. Don't raid my car. It's just 1s and 5s. Nobody break into my new truck, please. And so I always give out, if I see a homeless person, I'll give them $1 or $2, or those guys that wash the windows, I'll give them $1 or $2. But I was just walking down the street, didn't have any cash on me, simply had my phone, which has a couple of credit cards, and that's it, and my can of Lucy's. And this lady asked me, she's like, do you have any spare change? And I go, no, I don't today, thank you. And so I said thank you to her, and then she goes, oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And I was like, oh my God, not only did I say the wrong thing.
Oh my God.
Then she said, you're welcome for asking me for money.
Oh my God.
It just made me want to like shrivel up. But luckily I walked away from it with my head held high.
Funny you say that because I had the exact same thing, except for I just completely froze. I was walking to Cavo with my girlfriend and this homeless lady who's got a dog, by the way, felt kind of bad for the dog. Dog looked very clean though. It wasn't very convincing. I was like, that dog looks like it was pulled straight out of a house. Yeah. That dog is living in a home. I don't know if you are, but she comes up and goes, I want a meal in a hotel. Would you pay for that for me? Like she legit wanted a hotel room and a meal. And I'm like, and I legit just froze. And like, I didn't say anything for like 10 seconds. And then my girlfriend's like, we can't do that. And then we just walked off. And I just didn't fucking say anything. I was so... And as a homeless person, obviously, you're not going to be like, it's okay if you can't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like it's
they're not. They don't give you an out. They legitimately sit there and wait for you to respond. And so I was just fucking staring at her for like 10 seconds. Just blankest look on my face. Felt so fucking bad about it. But yeah, it was a pretty big ask for I just paid for 2 weekends of a hotel room for my buddy's wedding, and I don't need to pay for a homeless lady's hotel room. I'm sorry, but fucking money doesn't fucking grow on trees. You ever seen This Economy, woman? So it was just a very funny situation. But.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't thrilled about paying for my own hotel room.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I prepaid it, and I was like, oh, I didn't. That sucks.
Dude.
I heard you in front of me, and that made me sink immediately because I was like, fuck, I thought I paid for this before.
Dude, yeah, that's what I thought I had already paid it. And I don't look at my credit card. What if you just hit the Uno reverse on a homeless person, ask them for money? What do you think would happen?
That might be
the way to like
test of just humanity and see what happens.
They might do that for you like that, and then you'd feel like a total asshole.
And then give them double back.
Exactly.
Maybe that's a good test. Like you ask them, and
I guess that's a thing that's been done on the internet. People do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me. I feel like everything's been done on the
internet.
internet.
Don't cancel us. I just thought it was a funny thought.
Well, if you're not watching this pod on the internet, make sure to do that. Head over to our YouTube, Big Drive Energy Golf. Make sure you're checking out our pod every single week, Monday and Wednesday. We're going to be on Wednesday in the afternoon this week, so it's going to be a blast. We're going to talk about the playoffs. We've got the FedEx St. Jude Championship at TPC Southwind. First round of the playoffs, our boy Homeless Hubs, Mark Hubbard, in the field. They're going to try to play his way into the BMW Championship next weekend here at Castle Pines Golf Club in Colorado, which will be out all week. Media passes, the whole bit. Nothing could go wrong possibly for us. It's going to be a great time. But until then, we'll talk to you guys on Wednesday with our full playoff preview of the first round. Top 70 players on the PGA Tour going at it, trying to keep their schedule or trying to keep their careers alive, and trying to make some more money with a $20 million purse coming up this weekend at TPC Southwind. We will talk to you on Wednesday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.